So it's great this morning to be joined by Koula Achillea from Oakman Inns. Koula, would you just like to introduce yourself and your position and what you do?
Of course. Good morning, Roland.
Morning.
Great that you've taken some time out so we can have this conversation. So I am the finance director of Oakman Inns. I joined middle of January last year, 2020. So Oakman Inns has got 28 pubs, and we call them premium pubs. So premium pubs are where the wet food split is broadly 50-50. And our average spends are in excess of around £35 per person. So that's our definition. We've got our pubs are around Hertfordshire and the home county, so Hertfordshire, Buckinghamshire, Oxfordshire. We started up about 13 years ago and then have rapidly grown ever since. And we've got really huge ambitions for growth over the next kind of 3 or 4 years to double our estate.
Amazing. I mean, I love the business. I know Peter Borgneel through Tring Rugby, and I think the brand's fantastic. And having a few of them local to me always helps. But obviously having won lots of awards and had huge growth and being very well known locally. I mean, how's 2020 been? A tough year, I imagine.
It's a roller coaster, like there's high highs, low lows. So you can imagine I was blissfully in my induction period. At the beginning of March, going around visiting all of our sites, visiting the teams, getting to know the business, and then lockdown hit. And we very quickly realised the importance of strong communication in our leadership team. So daily phone calls, work planning what we needed to do. You know, initially it was about securing our sites from a health and safety perspective, from a physical perspective, getting to grips with cash flow, our burn rate, and almost on a daily basis there was new information. So it was new information about the furlough scheme and the government support and how to apply for CBILS, and then the whole getting a CBILS loan was took a long time in itself and was very time consuming. You know, speaking to suppliers, speaking to landlords. Putting all the team on furlough. So it was, I think the most important thing was that we had the strength of our leadership team and we had that daily communication, and we were in touch with our team as well.
Yeah.
So they were able to feed back to us, and we were in touch with the pulse of the business, which is important.
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of very positive PR from the business. You know, I think the communication externally has been good as well, from what I can gather. I mean, the business seems to have made quite a lot of changes and adapted itself, you know, necessarily. What's the business done to sort of get through it and keep going?
I guess lots of things. So there's kind of the COVID friendly things that we've had to put in place. So things like screens in between the tables and thinning out the covers, and indeed those kind of things. We were one of the first businesses to do that. So we were undoubtedly one of the first businesses that invented those screens and implemented them, to the extent that Whitehall actually came to one of our sites to film the government video on how to be COVID friendly and COVID safe in hospitality. So
wow.
So that was good. So there were kind of like lots of health and safety things that we needed to implement, but at the same time, we still needed to be entrepreneurial and innovative and move forward and think about opportunities. And it's just trying to keep those two things going at the same time. So we developed quite quickly outdoor spaces. So we call them pods. So they're kind of small, they're kind of outdoor sheltered little rooms with a table and seating for up to 8 people, fully heated, your own music system. And we developed that from end to end, and they started going live last year across our sites.
Wow.
So just a combination of
no, that sounds amazing. I mean, and the business has always been entrepreneurial. That's been a huge I think, backbone to it and the spirit behind it. Those sort of, pods, as it were, are they something that's going to be there for the future? Has the business done anything that, like that, then that's going to stay for the future, that's going to be a, part of the business now?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we realised quite early on that there were going to be lots of restrictions indoors. So firstly, we had to thin out our covers between 20 and 30% on each site because of the distance that we needed to keep between tables. So we lost quite a lot of seating from that. And then as it transpired, there were more restrictions about groups and families mixing inside. So we invested in all of our outdoor estates. So we put lots of outdoor heaters, tents, stretch canopies, made our outdoor spaces built to last for the future. So nothing was a short-term investment. There wasn't anything, here's one I made earlier with a bit of sticky back plastic and loo roll. It's all built to last. It's all up to our standards. It's all stuff that we can be really proud of. So we've created 1,000 outdoor covers across our estate, which will be amazing all year round. And a lot of our estates started to introduce events and music events and quizzes all outside. And I mean, who doesn't like twinkly lights and a fire pit?
Absolutely. That sounds amazing. I can't wait. As soon as lockdown finishes, I think there's also a huge pent-up demand for people to want to go out. So I'm sure you guys will be flat out as soon as the restrictions get dropped, really. Well, has the business got thoughts on I guess on hopefully when timescales may be on those restrictions being lifted?
Well, I mean, it's really easy to spend hours every day speculating on what might or might not happen. At the moment, our forecasting is based on early April, but I'm hoping that, I think there won't be one person in this country that won't be listening to Boris Johnson on the 22nd, eagerly waiting to find out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the most important thing is that we've got plans that allow us to be flexible. So every lockdown, so when we first opened up on the 4th of July, we were ready to open on day one. And not only were we ready to open, but we were in a position where our team felt really confident and they were well trained. And that was because that preparation started a month before then, leading up to it. And I'm confident that we'll be in the same position. So we will start trading on the first day that we're allowed to trade. There's no doubt about that. But even that requires agility.
Yeah, absolutely. I think being prepared in advance, I think, is going to be a huge thing for a lot of businesses. And there's something that's been going around the hotel industry, some reports showing that hotels that closed in lockdown never made up the occupancy levels when things picked up again in the summer. The hotels that stayed open managed to maximize the opportunity better. So I think operationally, if you're ready to go and the staff are on it and that they'll make more from it. So I think that.
Yeah. And the team bit is critical. It's not just about the logistics of opening your doors and making sure you've got food and drink. It's so important that you have your team ready and your team feeling confident, especially if you think back to July when everything was so uncertain. It was really important for us to have our team feel confident, to then give that confidence to our customers so that our customers would come, enjoy the experience. A lot of our customers were wary and then feel confident enough to return to us.
Yeah, good. And very quickly, we haven't got much time. So what advice would you give to other finance leaders in your position at the moment?
Gosh, lots. I'd say keep communication going. I think at times like this, we don't have all the answers ourselves, and quite often the answers will lie within our teams, and it's more important than ever that we keep our teams engaged and look to our teams for guidance and help and support.
Yeah, very good advice. I agree. Thank you, Koula. Great to have you on, and can't wait to catch up with you again soon.
Preferably over a beer and a pizza.
In one of yours, definitely, without doubt.
Absolutely.
Speak soon. Bye.
Thanks, Roland. Cheers.
Bye.